first day I'm standing next to him wearing exact same clothes, I was so nervous.
I would be pissing myself.
I know. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm doubling like a god here, you know? And Jackie was so nice to me.
What's up, guys? Today's guest is a Taekwondo legend, stunt coordinator, and a former president of the International Stunt Association. Please welcome to the JAMCast, Mr. Simon Rhee.
Hello, everyone.
What is up, sir? How are you?
Hi, Travis.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
Oh, man, this is a honor as well as very intimidating to be sitting across from you.
Oh, please. I have so much respect for you, Travis. Come on.
I appreciate that, sir. I feel like you have known me since before I was an idea in my parents' brains, probably. Technically speaking, right?
Yes, I used to compete against your mother a lot in tournament days. Yeah.
That is so surreal to think about. And how, obviously, there's so much that I want to talk to you about, but how many years has your martial arts journey spanned? He had to sit and he's like, carry the one.
53 years.
53 years. And now, if I'm not mistaken, you kind of have a unique journey in the sense that you're born in California, but then you moved to Korea.
Correct.
When you were relatively young, right?
When I was 1,
Okay.
my parents wanted me to learn how to read, write, and learn the Korean custom.
Okay.
Because my 12th great-grandfather is Great Admiral Lee Sun-shin.
Okay.
And he's the person who created this turtle ship. And this was around 1500s when they were fighting against Japan.
Okay.
And this ship, if you guys look it up, it's like a turtle. So back in 1500s, the ships were like Pirates of the Caribbean, like they come next to each other.
Yeah, yeah.
They fire cannons and then they ride the rope and get to the
Full
other
on
side.
pirates, yeah.
Yeah, and then they do a sword fight. My 12th great-grandfather's ship had covering like a turtle's back.
Okay.
It had spikes on it.
So people can't jump onto
They
it.
cannot jump on it. And he knew exactly how much weight of steel to use because the cover is steel plated. So the Korean ships would sink lower than the Japanese ships.
Crazy.
So when they fired the cannons,
Different level, yeah.
different level. So
Yeah.
when Japanese ship fired the cannon, it would land on top of the steel plate. But when my grandfather's ships fired the cannon, it hit.
Direct hit.
So
Man.
yeah, so he's like on the very, very main street in Seoul, Korea.
Okay.
You see a big statue of him.
No way.
And all the Korean kids learn about him.
Okay.
So my parents wanted me to know that.
The history.
History and
culture.
my bloodline.
Wow.
So that's why they took me back. So I stayed there till I was 12. I finished my 6th grade.
Okay.
And then they brought me back to the United States.
That is crazy. And now I've done a lot of research on you and I didn't know that story. That is so surreal. That is wild. And now I do know that you had a very unique introduction into Taekwondo, which is I've heard and listened to other podcasts you talk about it. And I feel like a lot of people would be surprised to hear that you literally were introduced to it as a result of like a health issue.
Yeah, when I was like 10, I caught this, viral meningitis.
Yeah.
And the fever went to my right knee, my heart, my spine, and my brain, 4 different places.
Okay.
And when my parents took me to the hospital, the doctor said, if you brought him 1 day later, your son could have been either vegetable or he could have been dead.
Wow.
So I stayed in the hospital for 2 months. And then I finally survived, came back out, and that's when my father enrolled me into Taekwondo for my health reasons. And I fell in love with it.
No way. And now, did your father, anyone in your lineage, do Taekwondo as well? Or was it just because you were in Korea?
My father did study Taekwondo too, but my father is like, he raised me very strict, me and my brother.
Yes.
And he told us all human beings have 3 paths in life. You'll either be a scholar, warrior, or an artist.
Okay.
So he wanted me to study hard so that if I decided to choose the scholar's road,
Yes.
and he told me to take guitar lessons
Okay.
if I wanted to become an artist.
Wow.
And then he wanted me to study Taekwondo if I decided to take the warrior's path. And I guess because of my 12th great grandfather, I took the warrior.
It sounds like you have Asian parents. They're like, we want you to study, learn music, and also do martial arts.
Yeah.
Oh, that is wild. And so obviously you said you kind of fell in love with it. How many days a week were you training? Was this like an everyday after school type activity, or how engulfed were you?
It was 6 days a week.
Wow.
And an interesting thing is my father, I had a choice. Either go to Taekwondo, and if I didn't want to go to Taekwondo, I get spanking. So me and my brother, we went to Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And when we were kids, you don't realize your improvement.
Yeah.
But my parents knew that. So my father made sure that I went. And I didn't realize how good I was getting until I was a teenager. And like about 18 or 19, I went to my father and I thanked him. I said, Dad, now I see why you were sending me to Taekwondo every day.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, it was an interesting journey.
And what is Taekwondo like, I guess, A, that many years ago, and B, what's the difference between Korea and United States? Is there like a big difference in the training regimen? And
I think right now it's pretty similar training-wise.
Okay.
But back in those days, me and my brother, we were white belts. We had to be the first one to go to the studio. And we had a rooftop and like pillars, but we didn't have windows.
Okay.
So during wintertime, the snow would come inside the wooden floor, and me and my brother would have to get rags. And we had to,
Clean the floors.
Clean the floor every morning.
Wow.
And we did that like every day during wintertime.
That's one thing that's a little lost in these days.
In America, yeah. And also, my instructor, like, when you see a knuckle here, you have a callus here.
Yeah.
My instructor would have another callus here because he would always give us a knuckle sandwich.
The little rapid punch.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, we were afraid of our instructor, too, back in those days.
That is wild. And at what point did you decide to move back to America? And was that to pursue Taekwondo at a higher level, or what brought you back to the States?
So after I finished my 6th grade, my parents wanted me and Philip to follow the American dream.
Okay.
So they brought us back.
Wow.
And we lived in this little city called Alameda.
Yes, of course.
You know what that is?
Of course, yeah.
So we grew up there, and then we moved to San Francisco. And my father opened up a small Taekwondo studio there.
Okay.
Yeah. And I learned from he opened up a Taekwondo studio, but my instructor at the time was a black belt in Taekwondo and Hapkido.
I was just going to ask. Okay, perfect.
So I learned both arts at that time.
Okay.
And I loved Hapkido of all the circular movements and falling and, almost like Aikido.
Yeah.
So I started learning both. And even back in those days, I had to go to Taekwondo or Hapkido every day.
Sounds like you have Asian parents. Oh,
Yeah.
that is rough. And now, if I'm not mistaken, you eventually worked your way up to 7th degree in Taekwondo and 4th degree in Hapkido?
That's correct.
Wow. And technically speaking, what system of Taekwondo do you do? Like, is it under a certain, like, is it WTF, or is it a certain school of Taekwondo?
So I started in Jidokwan.
Okay.
And then when all the Taekwondo merged, I'm on the World Taekwondo Federation.
Yes.
So my degrees are under World Taekwondo Federation. But then, just like you doing film work, I had to learn how to do all the other martial arts.
Yeah.
So I started learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from Jean-Jacques Machado's, Filipino martial arts from Danny Inosantos, Diana Inosantos, Ron Balicki, and then judo from Hayward Nishioka at LA City College. Took boxing.
Crazy.
Took Kempo, took Wing Chun. I even came here and took one lesson from Brian Sloyer.
Oh, Valentawak.
Yeah. And your mom helped me so much because I was that art was just so different for me.
So different, right?
Yeah.
That is amazing to think about. And now, back in the days when you were competing, I've seen pictures of you like competing in what looks like just like a bamboo chest plate. When you guys were originally sparring and stuff, were the rules that different? Was it more raw and dangerous back then?
Raw and dangerous. you want to knock out your opponent.
No way. So it's almost like Kyokushin, so to speak. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
And only thing we couldn't do was punch to the face.
Okay.
But just a cup and a bamboo chest protector, and everything goes.
No way.
And that tournament that you saw a picture of me wearing that chest protector, my grandfather is also one of the heroes in Korea.
Okay.
Because during World War II, there was a 33 freedom fighters.
Okay.
And by the time during that tournament, 32 people had passed away.
Okay.
And the only person that was alive was my grandfather.
Wow.
So when my grandfather came to see me compete, that the president of World Taekwondo Federation that was sitting on the seat got up and gave up his seat to my grandfather.
Wow.
Yeah, so now I'm fighting, and this guy that I fought was a silver medal winner the year before.
Okay.
And I was only about 15, really. I wasn't an adult, but this was total adult division.
Yeah, yeah.
And here I am representing USA and fighting a Korean champion. And he threw this kick that I did not see and knocked the wind out of me.
Okay.
And I went down I dropped to my right knee.
Okay.
And I saw my coach picking up a white towel.
The towel.
And getting ready to throw it in. And since I got my wind knocked out, I couldn't talk. And I wanted to tell my coach, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't throw that white towel. Let me lose honorably.
Yeah.
And he threw that towel. And I was just thinking of my grandfather. I just made my grandfather, like, he must have been so embarrassed by his grandson losing like this, you know?
Yeah.
That's all I could think of.
No way.
But I learned a lot. When you lose, you learn.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience for me.
That's literally like something out of a movie scene, which is so crazy, which we're going to talk about in a second. That's so crazy. And now, before we talk about that, what was your first introduction into the film industry, and what was it that kind of made you think that that was something that was possible?
1975.
Is it the Kentucky?
No, it was even before Kentucky Fried
Before
Movie.
Kentucky. Wow.
Now listen to this title.
Yes.
Me and my brother came to Los Angeles to visit my aunt.
Okay.
And it was during the Thanksgiving week. I knew Master Jun Chong.
I know the story. Okay.
So I called him.
Okay.
I said, Master Chong, how are you, sir? Just paying my respect. And he goes, hey, Simon, Philip, I'm shooting a movie in Long Beach Junkyard. Come over. I said, ooh, he's making a movie. Wow, let's go.
Let's go, yes.
So me and my brother, we went over there and we did this fight scene. And the movie, the title is called Bruce Lee Fight Back from the Grave.
Yes. A memorable project.
Yes. And then that movie got released. The year after that, we came back 1976 to visit our aunt again, and that movie was playing on Hollywood Boulevard.
No way.
So Philip and I went to go see it, and we saw ourselves like flying around on a big screen and like, whoa, I want to do this.
No.
I think that's when I got the bug.
That's what inspired you.
Yeah.
And now, how did you go about it? Because obviously back then, the industry still existed. It just wasn't as prevalent, I'm sure. So
that was 75, and I moved to Los Angeles 1976 after I graduated from high school.
Okay.
And I started teaching for Master Jun Chong.
Okay.
And I've been wanting to get into movie business. I taught Sam Jones, Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I taught Lawrence Alamas at the studios. And I didn't have enough connections, even though I taught all these movie stars. So it wasn't until 1986, 11 years later, I was able to get my SAG card.
11 years later.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And for those 11 years, did you have that burning passion to get into the industry?
I did.
And you just couldn't get in?
Couldn't get in.
For all of you listening that think you have a tough journey out there, 11 years of waiting, and then obviously look at all you accomplished now. That's amazing. And so what was that first job that did get you into SAG?
That movie is called Silent Assassins.
Okay.
Linda Blair, Sam Jones.
Wow.
Korean director.
Okay.
And that's the movie that I got my SAG card. And like you said, the Kentucky Fried movie.
Yeah.
That was like background work for me.
Okay. Okay.
So I didn't get a SAG card on that one.
No way. Yeah. I just know that's one of your first like listed official credits. So I was curious.
Oh, I got a credit on that one?
Oh, it's on your IMDb. It's on there. Yeah.
I didn't know
You didn't even know. That's like my favorite part of these JAMCasts when I say things people learn about themselves. Yeah. That's I think that may be one of your oldest stunt credits. So that's cool to think about how long ago that was. Yeah. And so when you first got into stunts and stuff like that, were you mostly doing fight scenes to start off? Was it stuff that fell into your wheelhouse? Or did you kind of feel like, oh, wow, there's a lot I have to learn here?
Well, Silent Assassin, of course, I had fight scenes, but it was more of acting.
Okay.
I think our fight scene was just one day.
Okay.
But all the other stuff was acting stuff.
Okay.
And acting stuff came to me pretty naturally. So I didn't have to, like, really go to acting schools or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
And then after Best of the Best, I got a little serious with going to acting schools and things like that. Yeah.
It's so funny because I recently just saw you pop up in a movie I was watching on Amazon Prime. I think you played Jimmy O Young's dad. He's laughing because he didn't think anyone saw that movie. Yeah, it's like a stand-up comedian movie, and I think you played the father in the opening scenes. Yeah, I was like, that's Simon Rhee. No way. Yeah, that's super.
That was funny because Steve Byrne.
Yeah, Steve Byrne, the comedian. Yeah.
He called me up, and he's half Korean.
Okay.
So we did a movie called K-Town Cowboys.
Yes.
But we never worked with each other.
Okay.
But then I guess he saw me in that movie, so he called me up and he goes, "Hey, Simon, I need a favor. Can you come and play this guy's dad?" I said, "Sure." I wasn't doing anything at that time. So
okay.
I came and did it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And now, obviously, like you just kind of mentioned to it, and people would kill me if I did not ask you about this. So I would say one of the things you're most well known for is playing the character of Daehan, and most importantly, being involved in my personal opinion, one of the most iconic martial arts movies of our generation. I would say up there with Karate Kid. Best of the Best is hands down one of the most iconic martial arts films of all time.
Thank you, Travis.
And not only did you get to be a part of it with your brother, but you got to be a stunt coordinator as well as be one of the characters in it. And how did that movie come about?
So me and my brother, we've been doing martial arts for a long time, ever since we were little kids.
Yeah.
When all the kung fu exploitation movies started to come to the United States, we were watching all these movies that had violence just for sake of having violence. Killing just for sake of killing, and sex and drugs.
Yeah.
And you and I know that's not what true martial art is all about.
Not at all.
So Philip and I, we would look at some kung fu movies and we would enjoy seeing the fight scenes, but then, we would always come out and talk about, I wish they would do something about being a true martial artist.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a little story. There's a radio DJ called Big Boy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Power 106.
Yes, Power 106. So one day he came into my studio.
Okay.
And he goes, "So, if I become a student here, do I have to call you master? I'm a black man. I have a problem with calling you master."
That's hilarious.
So I said, "Well, let me tell you what martial art is all about. Martial art is all about being a balanced person, like yin and yang. If I taught you how to kick and punch, and that's all I teach you, you're going to become aggressive, because that's all you're going to learn. So that's why I'm going to teach you how to bow. Say yes, sir, no, sir, master, Rhee, Mr. So-and-so, ma'am. So you have to learn how to be humble, and you have to learn how to be aggressive, and you combine that two together, then you become a balanced person. And that's what martial arts training is all about.
Totally.
So go ahead and take a lesson from me, and if you don't like the way I teach, then you don't have to sign up with me. You don't have to call me master. Next day, he signed up the whole family.
He's like, family package, please.
And every time he comes to my studio, he go, Master Rhee, place to be.
That's amazing.
So that's why we wanted to make a film that has more meaning than just showing martial art techniques and killing people and things like that.
Yeah, showing the heart of it.
Yeah, so we wanted to get to the heart of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so did you guys help in the development and the writing and the formulating of the movie? How did it get off the ground?
So this is a long story. So there are times in tournaments when you win, when you lose, the feelings that you get from it. And there were times that my brother was competing in tournaments, and then the things that he felt, we wanted to really, really get that together.
Yeah.
You know, and Philip and I, we talked about it. Philip wrote it, and he knew his mentor was this person named Peter Strauss.
Yes.
And so Philip went to him, and Mr. Peter Strauss had enough connections to make this movie happen.
Okay.
So Mr. Strauss got Eric Roberts, James Earl Jones,
Yep.
you know, and then Chris Penn.
Yes.
And then we got all the other people in it. And then even though I got a title as a stunt coordinator on that movie, I should not have been because I didn't have enough experience.
Yes.
Maybe just a fight coordinator because I put the fights
All the
together.
Taekwondo fights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I put the fights together.
Yeah.
But we have this big bar fight scene in the middle of a movie. And that's when like Kane Hodder, who's Jason on Friday the 13th, and like Percherny Brothers and all these professional stunt people came and helped us.
Okay.
You know, and yeah, they going through the window, landing on a pinball machine. I didn't know anything about that stuff. You know. So yeah, I don't think I deserve that credit, but since my brother's a producer,
Yeah.
he gave it to me. And then after that, those professional stunt people start calling me whenever they need
martial arts.
Asian, and that needs to do martial arts. And then I started liking stunt people more than actors because let's say, Travis, if I'm going to light you on fire, you have to trust me and your life is in my hand.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
And I like the camaraderie that we have as a stunt people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing that I fell in love with.
Totally.
I gravitated towards stunts more than acting.
Okay. Yeah. That is crazy. And now, when you guys were making that film, obviously everyone that does a project, you believe in the project, you're doing it. Did you have any idea how iconic or the reach that movie would have?
I did not.
Okay.
And this is like another miracle type of story. When, towards the end of the movie, you know how I delivered the medal to my brother?
Yes.
I was supposed to go to my brother and say my lines in Korean.
Wow.
And Sally Kirkland, who played the female coach,
Yeah.
she was going to translate it in English.
Okay.
Somehow that day when we came to shoot that scene, she wasn't feeling well. So my brother goes, Simon, you're going to have to do this with a broken English.
And just
do it. I was like, okay, so I did it in broken English. But I think that worked better.
I agree. That's hands down one of the most important, vital scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah, because if I did that in Korean and she translated it, I think it would have lost that power.
I think so too.
So by her not feeling well that day and me doing it in a broken English, and another thing was, after 3-4 times, maybe 5 times, my tears were drying up.
Okay.
I couldn't cry anymore.
Okay.
So then I was starting to like panic,
Yeah.
starting to worry.
I've had that feeling before on set
Yeah.
when you're supposed to cry and everyone's looking at you.
Yeah. So then my brother just came up to me and hugged me and he goes, Simon, I love you, my brother. That's all it took.
Yeah.
You know, just
Connected back with the emotions.
yeah. And
That scene is so powerful. Like I literally to this day can close my eyes and I can pull up the scene and the framing of the camera when you walk in and everything. I can still replay it in my head.
And the one thing that made me feel really good is about 25 years after we made this movie, I'm doing a movie with Gina Carano
Yes.
and Kellen Lutz,
Okay. Yeah.
and they haven't seen this movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Kellen Lutz's acting coach somehow saw this movie, and she goes, "You guys got to see this movie." So we're in Alabama.
Okay. On another film.
Yeah, on another film. So we finished working that night. We go to Kellen's hotel room, and we, put it on.
Wow. You
And I'm
watched it
watching
with
it.
them. Wow.
I'm watching it 25 years later, and I'm cringing. I'm going, "Oh, I could have done this better. I could have done that better."
Of course.
Because now I know more
Yeah,
about
of
making
course.
movies,
Of
So-
course.
After movie's done, they turn on the light, and I look at Gina and Kellen, and they're both crying, So I said, wow, after 25 years, this movie still carries it.
Yeah.
I
100%.
was very proud of that.
It's an emotional scene, and I've been very guilty of crying myself when I watch that scene. I'm not gonna lie, it's a tough one, man. And what's surreal to me is that's how I know it's an impactful scene is because I know you, I know Uncle James. I should be able to watch these movies and disassociate that it's clearly acting because I know all you guys as my uncles, and then
Right.
it still hit me, and so yeah, that's how you know it's an impactful movie. It's amazing to see, and man, it's anyone out there listening to this, if you have not had the chance to watch Best of the Best or Best of the Best 2, do yourself a favor and check it out.
It's playing on Netflix right now. So
Yes,
Oh.
which is a great plug.
Yeah, and I have another funny story on Best of the Best too.
Yes.
I didn't have too many lines. So there's a scene in a nightclub where this guy with a big old cowboy hat
Yeah.
comes up to me and goes, "Where you from, boy?"
Yep.
And my line was Houston. So Eric Roberts goes, "Simon, can you do me a favor?" I said, "What is that?" He goes like, "How you gonna do this line?" "Houston." He goes, "Please don't say it like that." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes like, "I want you to butcher this line." It's like,
How do
"Why,
I butcher
Eric?"
that?
I said, "Why, Eric?" He goes, "Simon, when you teach me martial arts, I trust you and I follow you. So when I teach you this little acting tip, please follow me."
Totally.
"Okay, Eric, I'm gonna trust you." So the guy goes, "Hey, boy, where you from?" I go, "Houston."
Perfect.
10 years later, people come up to me. They see me. Go, "Hey, Simon, Houston."
Yeah, exactly.
So that's when I knew. I said, "Wow, Eric Roberts really knows
Totally do.
this is craft."
I gotta ask you this: how many times have you been Daehan for Halloween? Because I would be it every year.
You know what? Never. I swear to God, never.
No way.
And only time I was Daehan was, maybe that was Halloween, at James Liu's house party.
Oh, that 1 year, yeah.
One time.
I think so. Okay.
Somebody asked me, he goes, "You got to come as a Daehan." I think it was Sonny. Sonny asked me to come as
So good.
I said, okay. So I put on
Put on the patch.
Yeah. I came one time as that was a Halloween party at James's house.
That is amazing, man. It's amazing, and as you said, it's on Netflix right now, so people can go back and watch it over and over again. Mm-hmm. And now, obviously, that's got to be one of the projects that stands out as a memorable one in your career. But over the course of your career, you've accomplished so much. You are also a 2-time winner of a Taurus World Stunt Award for Best Fight and Best Fire. Can you just let the people know what you won those for?
My best fight was on Rush Hour 2.
Okay.
And best fire was Letters from Iwo Jima.
Oh, wow. That's what it was for.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it was an honor for me on Rush Hour 3. They asked me to double Jackie Chan.
I was just going to ask you about that.
And I mean, he's like my idol.
It's the pinnacle.
Yeah, I looked up to him so much. So the first day I'm standing next to him wearing exact same clothes, I was so nervous.
I would be pissing myself.
I know. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm doubling like a god here, you know? And Jackie was so nice to me. Yeah.
I was going to ask you how intimidating that must have been. Like if you were very self-conscious about your movement and everything. Man, did you get to actually do any stunts for him, or did he do the majority of things himself?
Well, I did some of the stunts for him.
Okay.
But then on Rush Hour 3, the last day of shoot, they were setting up a scene where Jackie is falling off Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
So they wanted to try this stunt. So I'm holding, that was Wong, one of Jackie Chan's stunt team person.
Okay.
I'm holding him, he's holding me.
Okay.
And they wrap the line 3 times.
Okay.
And then the crane would lift us up like this, 60 feet up in the air. Okay. And on action, I pulled a quick release. And we're supposed to unravel.
Triple down. Unwrap.
Coming down.
Into gravity.
Yeah. And then we're supposed to split open.
Of course.
And then they said, after you split open, you guys might collide, so be careful.
Yeah, pendulum. Yeah. Boom, yeah.
Instead of us splitting open, I was on the bottom and Wugong was on the top, and the line went like this.
Just bungeed.
Now, luckily I was on the side when we came all the way down.
Yeah.
If it was on my back,
you would have broke your back.
Snap my lower back.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was a little bit higher, I think I would have, cracked my ribs.
Yeah.
But it was right between the floating ribs.
Wow.
So when it landed, my internal organs got shifted. So sure enough, I had to go to an emergency hospital.
Okay.
And I'm waiting, and the doctor comes and sees me, and he does this exam, and I tell him what happened, and he goes, "You look like you're in a lot of pain. Would you like some morphine?" And I have never taken a morphine before.
Of course
so
not.
I was like, no, I'm going to try to stay away from that.
Yeah.
So then about another 5-10 minutes later, I'm waiting and waiting. I'm supposed to get some kind of a CT scan or something done. So then the nurse comes over and she goes, "You sure you don't want any morphine? Doctor said I could give you some morphine." I was like, no, thank you. And then the patient next to me goes, "Give it to me."
I'll take it. Oh, man. And what ended up happening on that? Was it just internal damage to your body? Or?
Yeah, so about 2 weeks later, it started shifting back.
You literally shifted your organs over.
I mean, it did it by itself, but then, like, one day, John Moyer came to my studio.
Yeah.
And
John.
he didn't know what happened. He just, "Hey, Simon." He just gave me a little tap on my back, and I dropped to the floor.
No
I
way.
was still in a lot of pain.
Holy crap.
But it took me about a month to recover, I guess.
Of course,
totally, yeah.
And would you say that's one of your most dangerous stunts or accidents that's happened? I mean, for someone that's been in this for so long, I'm just curious if you have any bad ones.
I think that was the worst. And second one was I was working for John Moyo on Dark Skies.
Okay.
And supposed to step on an air ramp and go into like a stream.
Yes.
So when I step on an air ramp, the explosion's supposed to go behind me. And so I'm running towards the air ramp. The special effects person pressed the button too early.
Which happens quite often.
Yeah. So the explosion went up straight to my face.
Shit.
Luckily, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go.
Yeah.
So I kept on going. On 5th step, I stepped on the air ramp, completely blinded, went into the water, and then I tried to wash it out, and I couldn't wash it out. So then the first aid came, and they cleaned one eye, and I was able to open it, but couldn't open the other one.
Wow.
So they had to take me to an emergency, and I had to wait for like an hour or two for the eye doctor to come.
Okay.
And then when the eye doctor came, gave me all this medicine, it still wasn't working. So he flipped my eyelid open, and then there was all these little pieces that was jagged in there.
What was it? Like
just little debris.
Debris?
Yeah. So he had to get a tweezer and just plug every one of those things out.
Of your eye? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think those two are the most memorable accidents for me.
That is super, super wild. Holy crap. And now over the course of your career, obviously you hit a certain point where you decided to start coordinating and, obviously go into the other side of camera and things like that. What was it that made your decision to do that? Was it just out of necessity, or is it something that you like have a, more of a passion for nowadays?
Yeah. After you hit the ground many times,
Pay attention, Connor.
and your body, it takes longer for you to recover. And I said, I think it's time. And like, I know myself. I know how I move.
Yeah.
And like, when I see myself on a screen, like, I don't think I move as good as the young people do nowadays.
Okay.
I could see myself. Maybe other people would not realize it, but I realize it.
Yeah.
My body movement is slower than before.
Okay.
So I think I better slowly, getting out of hitting the ground.
Okay.
So, and then, luckily I start coordinating here, there. And then John Medlin, who coordinated Lucifer.
Yeah.
His mother wasn't feeling well.
Okay.
So they were getting ready to start the 6th season, and he couldn't come back for that. So he recommended me to take over.
Awesome.
So the producers did some background. They wanted to hire Shauna Duggins.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, but then Shauna was already busy with 911.
Yeah, and she had a bunch of other shows.
Yeah. So then Shauna goes, yeah, Simon's good guy.
Awesome.
You should hire him. So a lot of coordinators gave good recommendations.
Okay.
So I got hired on that show. And, Merritt Yanka, he was the original coordinator, and he's also an ISA member.
Yes.
So when I got the show, I wanted to run it like the way Merritt would run it.
Totally.
And I totally respect Merritt, love Merritt, and I know how he treats people. He's just so nice to everyone. And that's the way I wanted to run that show.
Totally.
And I hope I did a good job on it. People, pretty happy with it. And then before that show was done, Brett Chan, my good friend, told this executive producer and also a director on American Horror Stories.
Yes.
His name is Lonnie. He goes, oh, when you go to Los Angeles and start your American Horror Stories, you should work with Simon. So Lonnie called me up, and before I was even done with Lucifer, American Horror Story was lined up.
Perfect, yeah.
And then, and you know how it is, you got to stop prep this show, and I'm not done with this show
exactly.
yet. So I asked John Medlin to help me prep while I was still working on Lucifer.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, tag team.
Yeah, so he prepped 1 week for me, and then I started working on American Horror Stories, and I started working with Lonnie, the director, and he's just perfectionist. He's passionate, because I've seen directors just come in, do their directing, and then leave.
Of course.
But this director is just so different. He was so passionate with every single shot. I just fell in love with the way he works, So,
okay.
So I was very happy with that. And then while I was shooting first and second episode with Lonnie, getting ready for the third episode, and third episode has so many stunts, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And then our producer, Susan McConnell, goes, if you want someone to help you prep, let me know. I'll bring them in. And I said, how about Eric Norris?
Yes.
So she goes, yeah, why not? Because she knew Eric Norris also.
Everyone knows Eric.
So I called Eric, and he was available.
Okay.
So it was a great experience, because he hired me many times.
Totally.
So for me to hire him back and able to work together, it was like the best experience.
That's hands down one of the most rewarding things, is when I can hire guys that put money in my pocket. Even just a day, it makes me so happy.
Yep.
So
I would love to hire you one of these days too.
I know, that's so funny too, is because I've known you like my whole life, and I'm sure everyone's like, oh, well, you've known Simon, so you work together. We've only worked alongside each other. And you know what? One of the last times we worked together was, and I have to thank you for this,
Which one?
was I would say we've probably done some recent ones, but I'd say the one that I remember and I have to thank you for was Olympus Has Fallen. Because on that movie, I had literally torn my meniscus the day before we left. And I had tried to work through it for a week or so. And you literally were the one that pulled me aside and was like, hey, man, go take care of your knee. Go home. Go see the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
You gave me Evan Bachner's number. And I was like, all right, Simon, you're right. I'm going to go home and take care of my knee. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, I really appreciate that. But yeah, with that being said, I think, like you said, one of the coolest things is not only getting to hire people that paid us, put money in our pocket, but it's also just working with people that we view as friends and family. Yeah. How long have you been involved and a member of ISA for?
I think I joined that group year 2000.
Okay.
So 20 years, 21 years.
Okay.
And reason why I joined is I was working with Merit on Italian job.
Yes.
And we were both sitting inside the armor car on Hollywood Boulevard. And we had nothing else to do but talk to each other, you know. So that's when I asked him about ISA.
Okay.
And he told me about ISA. And he goes, are you interested in it? And I was like, yeah, I think so. So he talked to people, and then Denny Pierce and Kurt Bryan, they became my sponsors.
Yes.
And I got to join ISA.
Oh, that's crazy. And now it's so funny because I just worked with Medlin and Kurt on a show that John was running. And at one point, I believe 2012, you got to be the president. Mm-hmm. And what was that like? Did you ever imagine you would be in that sort of capacity, like being the president of a stunt association like that?
You know, when I first became a member of ISA, I was so shy. I was so overwhelmed because I felt like here's all these great stunt coordinators and stunt people. I sat in my chair. I didn't speak at all for like first 2-3 meetings.
Yeah, just quiet.
Yeah, just listening and absorbing and learning. And after being in there for about 12 years, I wanted to lead the group to a different level. So back in those days, our website was still black and white.
Okay.
So I wanted to change that to a color. I wanted to change it where you could update your own resume. I wanted to change it so that, you know, whatever is on your page, you could just send it to the producer, director, another stunt coordinators, things like that. And we didn't have, we had T-shirts and hats, but like we didn't have like jackets.
Yeah.
And I wanted all the members. We had about 40 people. I wanted all the members have the same jackets.
Totally.
So that was my goal, and I did that. And then, but all stunt people are like type A people.
Yes.
They're very strong-minded people, and it was like a lot of headache too.
Yes, yes.
Like, you know, okay, I did it 1 year. I did what I wanted to do. So now I just like.
Now I'm a member again.
Yeah, I just love to support the group from the back.
Yes. And now I think one thing that's really cool is that obviously you mentioned how you work alongside a lot of ISA members, but I do know that you're also like very good friends with guys like Jeff Wolf, and you've worked with guys who aren't in your necessarily the same stunt group. And I think that's good for younger stunt people out there to hear that just because you're in a group, it doesn't necessarily mean you're only going to work with members of your same group forever. You know? You can still work with other people here and there.
I love Jeff Wolf. There was an incident. I just finished coordinating Jessica Jones in New York.
Okay.
And then the producer goes, Simon, I want you to coordinate Luke Cage.
Okay.
And I did not want to be in New York for like 8 months. So I said, there's a good friend of mine. His name is James Liu. I think he'll be good for this show. James got hired.
Yeah. And James isn't in your group either.
No, he's not.
Totally.
And he won an Emmy.
Yeah.
But before he won the Emmy, I come back to Los Angeles, and now I'm working with Jeff. And many times Jeff is busy doing second unit directing.
Yeah, totally.
On Rush Hour, TV series. So then he would call me and say, Simon, I want you to cover my first unit while I go do second unit.
Yeah.
So I would cover first unit, and I would be the stunt coordinator for Jeff Wolf.
Okay.
Now, time comes to vote for Emmy.
Oh.
And Rush Hour 2, Luke Cage. I'm going, oh my God, who am I going to?
You could have been the coordinator up for it.
No, but I had to vote for
of
either
course,
Jeff
like,
or
which
James.
one?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, this is like tough, you know. So I was like, oh man. I was like, you know what? I'm going to vote for James.
Okay.
You know, so I voted for James, and somehow I felt really bad for Jeff.
Yeah.
You know. So after that, I said, and then my wife was getting very upset because when you're in an Emmy members, they send you so many DVDs.
Many
and my
screeners.
wife is going like, we don't even have time to watch all these things, you know. So I said, you know what? My wife is complaining. I don't ever want to be in that situation. Like, do I choose this friend or that friend? I decided to get out of the Emmy.
To walk away from the voting board.
Yes.
Just because of your friends. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But I love working with, all the people.
Totally.
That's great. That's what I love about the stunt business.
Yeah, that is super cool. And now one of the other cool things is I also got to be there for one of your son's first days on set when you actually got to stop by also, which was pretty cool. This was like a couple years ago. And it was just like a simple scene, but it was like his first day on set. And so I just wanted to know, like, are your boys both pursuing the industry and are you supportive of this, or what's their current state?
My first son, Kurt,
Mm-hmm.
he graduated UCSD
Mm-hmm.
with a nano engineering degree.
Yeah.
So he's doing really well in his field of work. But like anything else, when you're doing the same thing over and over, he wants to come out and play around.
Of course.
So he loves doing stunts
Okay.
because it's exciting.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever he could get away from his work, he'll come out and do it.
Okay.
My younger son, Kane, he went to UCSB like
Yeah,
you did.
Same as me, baby.
Yeah, and he partied.
We're very similar. We've had many talks.
Yeah. So he's working at some company, data analyst. I don't know what that still means. But he's working for a company, making a comfortable living.
Okay.
He also loves the action.
Of course.
So whenever I got him on the final episode of Lucifer,
Okay.
and he had a pretty big stunt where he had to fall onto this big drum can with fire in it.
Oh, crazy.
So he goes, "Yeah, Dad, I want to do that." I said, "Okay, take care of it." He did a good job.
That's super cool.
They both enjoy doing stunts. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you've been an instructor to your sons, and you've been an instructor to thousands of people over the years. You even got to train the cast of Cobra Kai before they went out there and shot. Has there been a memorable, film or person that you've trained for a certain role that stands out in your mind? Or have you just done so many at this point? You're like, they're all fun.
It's funny that you asked this because we talked about this yesterday.
Okay.
There's a very famous actress named Faye Dunaway.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know her?
I know the name, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, because a lot of young people don't know her. So Paramount Studio called me up. This is back in 1988.
Okay.
Paramount Studio called me up and asked me to teach Faye Dunaway how to use a sword.
Okay.
And it was a Japanese-style sword.
Okay.
I said, okay. So Miss Faye Dunaway, being famous as she is, she didn't want to drive all the way to Woodland Hills.
Of course.
So she goes, "Oh, can you find a space like somewhere in West LA?" So at that time, Master Heel studio, and he goes, "Yeah, sure." So I decided to teach her there. So we're supposed to meet at 10 o'clock every morning.
Okay.
And she would come 10:15,
Yeah.
10 after 10, always late. So I said, "Faye, I know who you are and I have a lot of respect for you, but we cannot have this kind of relationship. I respect you as an actress, and you have to learn to be my student. We got to have a student and instructor relationship. If we cannot have that, I cannot teach you."
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rhee. I'm sorry. I won't be late tomorrow." Next day, she came 1 minute late.
Oh, no.
So I said, "Faye, go down and give me 10 push-ups."
Yeah, savage.
She went down and started doing 10 push-ups.
Oh.
Travis, and I'm going, oh my God, I just made Faye Dunaway do 10 push-ups.
Like she's my student. Yes.
Oh my God, you know.
Yeah.
So then she went to France to make this movie with Jennifer Beal from Flashdance and Matthew Modine.
Yeah, yeah.
So Sunday morning, I'm sleeping, and I get a phone call from Faye Dunaway from France.
Okay.
And she goes, Mr. Rhee, I'm not happy with my stunts and my stunt double. Will you do me a big favor and come out to France and double me?
What? What? Okay.
So
okay.
I was flying out to France, put on a blonde wig, red lipstick.
Wow.
And I had to do a fight scene with Matthew Modine on this cliff.
No way.
Yeah, that
is
was
insane.
my most amazing.
That is a crazy story to think about. Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah. That's one for the books.
So yesterday, reason why we were talking about this, so yesterday, this executive producer and Lonnie that I was telling you about, the person that I respect. So we were having lunch together yesterday.
Okay.
We're having a Korean barbecue. And he had a flat tire.
Okay.
So he came a few minutes late.
Ah.
So I told him about Faye Dunaway's story, and we just laughed it off, right?
Of course.
So what does he do? He goes home with his wife, and he records himself doing push-ups.
And he sent it to you?
And he sent it to me.
That's amazing.
That was so classic.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an incredible story, one you'll never forget, I'm sure. And now, after all these years of involvement in Taekwondo and Hapkido at a high level, as well as all the years of stunts, how did your body hold up cumulatively? This is something I always ask my elders because I'm in fear, Simon. And I know you and I have talked about hips already.
Yeah. So I had 2 hip replacement surgeries.
Same hip or different hip?
No, different. 2013, I got one done. And 2020.
And that's the one I talked to you about recently. Yeah.
And this one was done on March 12th. And then I think March 15th is when everything shut down in the United States. So I did not have time to go to a physical therapy on this.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because, it makes sense.
And everything was closed.
Yeah.
So I think I developed some scar tissues inside.
Yeah.
So when I kick, I don't feel 100% comfortable now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I try not to kick high anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love it whenever I get a chance to go to the pool, then I do all my kicks inside the pool to try to develop my kicking muscles back up.
Yeah.
But no more fancy kicks anymore.
Man, that is very humbling to hear. I'm already starting to feel my knees going, and I know it's a matter of time. At this point in your life, how is your training regimen? Is it based off of work, or do you still do any training just to maintain for your own personal satisfaction?
What I like to do is I like to walk about 1 hour in the morning.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then after that, I love to do all the black belt forms from 1st degree all the way up to 7th degree.
Every day?
Whenever I can.
Okay.
Sometimes
I was like, holy shit, Simon, I feel bad about myself. I was like, I do not train enough.
Yeah, because, sometimes I have an early call time.
Yeah, of course.
If I shoot nights, then I can't get up in the morning to do it. But whenever I have the time, I would love to just love going over all the forms.
Okay.
And you know me, I used to compete in form competitions. And, I would like to just, keep that up as much as I can.
Yeah, 100%. It's something that as I get older, I watch how much my mom still trains, and it's something that I'm very conscious of. Like, I need to try to set aside time for that when I can. Because
tell your mom I have so much respect for your mom. Awesome.
It's crazy. She still trains all the time, and I'm like, you are nuts.
How's your dad's body? Is your dad still training? Is he still holding up?
He is not training as much, and that's why I'm so conscious of watching Mama. He's obviously has like other health problems, as you know, from over the years and stuff. Yeah. So at this point, I think he's just happy to just do his internal. And my dad gets the biggest kick these days out of Facebook. Like, I swear he just loves uploading family photos, and like every day it's just like he's going through photo albums and uploading old photos.
Yeah. Oh, I want to say this to your fans.
Yeah.
People following. I use Facebook as a tool. This is something that my wife told me.
Okay.
Because when it first came out, she goes, just post once a week.
Yeah.
So the people know that you're out there.
That you're alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, don't post your face too much all the time. I can't stand that.
100%.
Yeah. But I love seeing like short clips of their fighting stuff.
Yes.
Things like that. And I remember that. When I see a person doing a cool fall to the ground or cool kicks, I'm going to remember that person, So a lot of times when I read a script and I need to find a stunt double, I go to, the normal stunt directory sites.
Yeah, of course.
And after that, if I cannot find it, then I'll go to the Facebook.
Yep.
And I see all my friends on my Facebook who does that kind of a martial arts or some kind of falls or some kind of driving. And so I use it as a tool. So if you guys are into Facebook, upload your cool stuff, and me or other stunt coordinators, they could see it. And I have hired many people from Facebook just from that.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's something that I've repeatedly said on here, which is like, guys, obviously hustling has changed because of COVID.
Yeah.
But the best way to hustle these days is to just put out cool training clips or a short 30-second fight. And if it's good, people will share it. Yeah. And then eventually people like yourself will see it, all see it. Yeah. So the name of the game is just visibility.
Yep, absolutely.
And what other advice would you have for up-and-coming stunt people out there? Would you suggest that they get into a martial art like you did? Or what advice would you give to someone trying to break into the industry?
Don't lie. I was working on Beverly Hills Ninja with Jeff Imada.
Classic, yes.
And Jeff and I were sitting next to each other. We're eating lunch. And then there was like 3-4 background Asian guys.
Yeah.
And they were talking. And they were saying, yeah, just put, on your resume, just put, so-and-so, I did this and I did that, and just put Jeff Imada. They'll never know.
And Jeff's sitting there.
And Jeff is sitting right next to me. so
oh my God.
I tap on that background person, and I say, hey guys, would you like to meet Jeff Imada?
No way.
And their face just turned red.
Oh my God, I would have paid to have been there.
And Jeff goes, you know what, you guys, don't lie. Because stunt community is small. You'll get caught, and once you get caught, you'll never work again. So don't lie, you guys. That's the first
That is
rule.
A crazy story.
Yeah.
Oh my! I've heard other stories of that. Like I was friends with Sunny Season, who did all the Power Ranger live show wrangling, and he was on a plane once, and there was a guy in the row in front of him trying to hit on a girl, talking about how he's a Power Ranger.
Oh no!
And Sunny said he couldn't take it. Eventually, he said like, "Oh, so you know Koichi?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And then Sunny said he opened the overhead bin and pulled out the Ranger helmet. He goes, "These Rangers?"
Oh.
And the guy was like,
"Oh, how cool is that?"
yeah. Oh man, your story is crazy. So obviously, don't lie. And then, from a skill set standpoint, and obviously someone that is Taekwondo background, do you suggest any certain martial art or form of movement to study specifically?
As everybody knows, Taekwondo is definitely about kicking.
Yeah.
So, and it's really good for big movement and wushu.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So, beautiful, a lot of circular movements. So if you're going to do martial arts, do one of those two.
Okay.
I love Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but that's more street practical.
Totally.
And it doesn't translate that well to the movie industry unless you're doing all this crazy flipping combination,
Flying arm
judo,
bars,
flying
yeah,
arm, things
exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
But just study as much as you can, and also Filipino martial art is very those quick hand trapping techniques. It looks cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just try to study as much as I can.
Okay.
Now the judo is a big thing.
Yeah.
Silat is a big thing. But I remember driving it took me 2 hours to go to Mr. Dan Inosano's studio in Marina Del Rey.
It'll still take you 2 hours to get there. 40 years later, it's still 2 hours there.
Yeah,
and then no parking.
Yeah, and take 1 hour lesson and take 2 hours. I was like, oh, this is so crazy.
So brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, that is really, really funny. And then for those there specifically that are probably interested in training with you, how can people go ahead and have the opportunity to learn under you?
Oh boy, right now I'm teaching at the park Grape Arbor Park in Calabasas, but I want to come here once a week and teach.
Let's make it happen.
Jam.
Yeah.
So let's
Make it happen. Yeah. And it was one of the things that I was, it was really, really hit hard for me was your school closing after COVID, just simply because, in my personal opinion, it's like an institution of Los Angeles. Yeah. You know, you're at the same place for 40 years.
40 years. And what happened was paying rent month after month after month and not being able to know when we could open up.
It was a nightmare for us, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the same for you too.
Nightmare, yeah.
So after like 6 months of paying rent and not being able to open up, we talked to the landlord and, you know, he gave us a little bit of discount. And so we're still paying rent and we still don't know when we could open up.
Yeah.
So my wife and I decided, you know, this is not working. This is crazy. It's like flushing the money down the toilet.
Yeah, it's literally you're just losing money.
Yeah, so we decided to close, and I started teaching at the park. And students that are loyal to me, who's been with me for many years, they would still come.
Yeah, yeah.
So I teach at the park, but now it's going to start getting hot.
Yeah.
So I want to teach maybe a couple of morning classes at the park, and I want to come here and teach some classes here. So we'll talk about that after our interview.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I still recommend people to go train with you all the time. I have a bunch of, up and coming stunt people, and I always recommend them to go get some formal training with you. So.
And every time I need a young person, I call you.
Exactly.
Like, hey, how can I find this stunt double?
Exactly. It works out amazing. Very, very blessed to see it happen. And so, with that being said, at this point in your career, what are the next goals for you? Is it to continue to coordinate, or would you like to focus on second unit stuff, or what are the plans for your future?
I've done second unit directing, and I enjoy coordinating.
Okay.
Yeah, I do not have a desire to be first unit director.
Okay, good to know. Yeah.
Because I see the responsibilities and the crew members coming up to the director and asking questions. Oh, is this color okay? Oh, is this color okay? Just there's so many questions that you have to answer as a director.
Yeah.
And my personality, I'm not sure if I have, that type of personality.
Totally.
I don't mind teaching students and fixing things, but like just every 5 seconds answering questions.
Little things.
Yeah, it might drive me crazy. So, I'm happy with where I'm at. Just coordinating and second unit directing here and there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And now, with that being said, this is a question I ask everyone before we get out of here. So I'm kind of curious as to what you're going to say. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And then where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
5 years from now, I would like to be in Bora Bora sipping pina colada with my wife.
Hey! And I'm sure she would like that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And 10 years from now, I just hope my body is still in good shape to still do my exercises and do my forms and go play golf here and there. And I'm sure I'll be retired by then.
Heck yeah.
I want to be healthy and I want to be happy. And I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good person, And that's how I want to live my life.
100%. No, I think for someone that's accomplished so much across the board, both career-wise and personally, and also in the martial arts, that I think you deserve to sip some Mai Tais in Bora Bora and just hang out and chill. But more than anything, I really appreciate you taking the time to come out here and sit with us. But more than anything, I also appreciate just all the years of guidance and for keeping an eye out for me when we're on jobs together and, just taking care of me when I know you don't necessarily have to. So I appreciate it.
And now it's time for you to take care of me.
Exactly. We're trying. Nothing makes me happier, like I said, the day that I could hire you, Uncle James, and Uncle Jeff, and have you guys come out and just sit as pedestrians.
Yeah.
That'll be the day.
That'll be the day.
Exactly.
That'll be awesome.
Hey, I need you guys to sit here and just sit still.
Yeah. So much fun.
But like I said, more than anything, thank you for everything you've done for the martial arts and for, the industry as an Asian stunt performer. And just personally, thanks for your years of friendship to my family and for everything you've done.
Thank you, Travis.
Hell yeah. So before we get out of here, Simon, can you look in that camera and let people know where they can stay up to date following you or even your website and the studio?
Just Facebook, Simon Rhee, Instagram, Simon Rhee, Twitter, The Simon Rhee.
And your website?
SimonRhee.com, I guess.
We'll put it on the screen.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Travis.
Heck yeah, guys. With that being said, please be sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe for brand new episodes each and every week. Join us every Monday for Jam Breakdowns and every Friday for brand new JAMCast, interviewing influential members of the movement community like Mr. Simon Rhee himself. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to give one more very special thank you. Thanks for coming through, Simon. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Travis.
Yes. And as always, guys, coming at you, coming through, I'm your host, Travis Wong. Thanks for joining us here on another JAMCast. Until next time, we'll see you all soon. Peace.